You are watching Xpoze24 Plus365. Today we have report on child labor by Ima. Let's see the report.
Child labor has existed to some extent for thousands of years. The beginning of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century was the turning point for an explosion of child labor. During the Industrial Revolution, most families relied on their children to work. Sending kids to school was not an option for two reasons. Many parents could not afford to send their children to school, and the missed work opportunities for children were also a factor. In the United States, child labor reforms began in the 1830s, and it took more than 100 years for federal laws to mandate minimum working hours and age of employment. Actually, child labor is not a problem in itself. The problem arises when children are exploited and treated like cattle. The report by the India Committee of the Netherlands notes that local seed farmers secure bonded labor of young girls by offering loans to their parents in advance of cultivation. This compels the girls to work at the terms set by the employer for the entire season and in practice for several years. About 90% of all labor in the Indian cotton seed market is carried out by 450,000 children, some of them as young as 6 and most of them girls. These girls work long days, are paid very little, are deprived of an education, and are exposed for long periods to dangerous agricultural chemicals, the report said. Narasama, 12, told the report's authors she had worked in the cotton fields for the past 5 years. She sleeps in a cattle shed and works more than 13 hours a day with 2 breaks. For that she is paid 30 rupees, less than $1 a day. Even in India, $1 a day is not going to provide her with a better future. But the farmers are even more generous. Children are offered biscuits, chocolate and other inducements made by Unilever to encourage them to work harder. And why is the workforce made up predominantly of young girls? Joseph Gachia, the head of India's Centre of Concern for Child Labour, explained to BBC News Online that farmers encouraged people to believe that cross-pollination of the seeds will only work if girls who had not yet reached puberty carried it out. Child labour is not only companies, it is also in household work in middle-class family in Asia. India and Bangladesh is one of the biggest child labour containing country. In most of Asian countries we can easily find child labor now. About Nestlé, we all know that Nestlé is one of the most evil company in the world. We have already made video and discussed about cocoa farm. Nestlé has also killed more than 2 lakh children in Pakistan by its milk powder. You can easily get about it on Google. All the multinational companies are involved in child labor, and when it comes to P&G, they are also involved in animal killing in the name of experiment. In 132 countries ratified International Labour Organization Convention No. 182, which calls for immediate action to ban the worst forms of child labor. Clearly there is a strong movement opposed to child slave labor, but the problem will never really go away until we consumers force companies like Unilever, P&G, Nestlé, L'Oreal to put the high ideals they espouse into action. If we can take action against child marriage, then why not about child labor? So let's start it from today.
Thanks, Ima. So this was the report on child labor. For more, keep watching Xpoze24 Plus 365.